Right, hey guys, it's Cardo. The first detail of my brand new van. I'm going to be treating it to a full strip wash, decon, clay, and polish. So kick back and enjoy these satisfying visuals paired with some narrative commentary. So, let's get started. Almost 3 months since I had purchased this vehicle, and not a single detailing product or even a towel wipe down had touched this van since arrival. I wanted to save the first ever wash for you guys to witness, so there's plenty of grime, bird pastries, brake dust, traffic film, and perhaps a couple of water spots had conveniently taken shelter on my pride and joy. With almost 13 hours of labor, more than 100 gigabytes of footage, and a couple of minutes of me narrating, there's a lot to unpack here, so grab a couple of snacks and enjoy the video. Now, I will use a lot of products and tools throughout the video, and worry not, I will elaborate their purposes. Some had been seen multiple times throughout my videos, and in this detail, I will show some that are new to the spotlight. And for context, I am using my trusty Krenzel 1322 TS pressure washer and a DI tank because this will be necessary for the brutal California weather in a few hours from now. So enough talk, and let's get on with the show. The 17-inch German donuts had collected lots of caked on filth and would stand out with the contrasting colored van if left unattended. So to address it accordingly, I gave it a quick rinse, and sure enough, it had removed a vast majority of the impurities. I followed up with Magic Wheel Cleaner from Kosh Chemie to deal with the embedded brake dust. This product is amazing with its viscous, high foaming, and chemically active ingredients for more effective clean with the least amount of effort. Now, I think I got a defective bottle because the trigger plunger was constantly getting stuck during its use, so I gave it the classic whap the top of the TV slap, and it worked right away afterwards. Not a bad representation of the product, but probably a bad representation of transportation partners. With a clean wheel, the chocolate donut was next. Here I use Streamline's Blast Off Degreaser. This product was new to me, so I thought I'd give it a go after a couple of good impressions. Now, compared to other known degreasers, this does not foam that much, but my goodness, this shreds right through the grime, and it did it in a single pass. Very impressive, and I feel like this can come in handy for those restoration details or super neglected vehicles. If you're not convinced with this product, then allow me to show you my heavily stained Washman with a quick wipe from my tire. The other wheels were addressed in the same procedure. I often showcase the P&S Double Buster Duo comp, and while it is satisfying to see the visuals of high foaming capabilities and purple iron oozing through the gaps, it's nice to give other brands a chance. I love Magic Wheel Cleaner because it is an active chemical that does not smell that bad, and Blast Off Degreaser, while it does not foam as much, according to my stained Washman, it does indeed clean the surface effortlessly. I will do my product exploration off camera, and I'll let you guys know either on social media or have it showcased on my video. If you have a product that you would like to recommend, let me know in the chat box below this video. A proper pre-clean is necessary to address a bulk of the grime without any physical contact. So with that said, it was time for the APC Pre Wash procedure. In a foam cannon, I prep a solution of Geon's APC diluted 4 parts of water to 1 part of product, or 4 to 1. There was 800 milliliters of water and 200 milliliters of product, which was a perfect serving considering that I had used all of my remaining Geon APC. I will need to go out and get some more because this is some good stuff as mentioned in my pre-wash tutorial video, link to that below. On a bare, dry surface, I lathered the area with some high cleaning bubbles to break down the gritty stuff. The sun was starting to come out, and being in California, there was no way I was going to take my chances with the brutal summer heat drying up the solution. So I work in smaller areas, slowly but surely. Now I am sure you can see how effective a pre-wash is with an all-purpose cleaner. Gritty particles are safely encapsulated to glide off with some slick bubbles, and the bird pastries are melting away, leaving mustard streaks that is oddly satisfying to look at. After about 2 to 3 minutes of spent product, it was all rinsed off, revealing a much cleaner surface to work on. Same procedure on the rest of the vehicle: lather, dwell, and then rinse. The areas where the sun was hitting the van directly, I don't let the spent product dwell for too long to avoid a potential stain or paint defect from occurring. I would say between a minute or two is more than enough to break down the fill for an easy rinse. Maybe if it was winter time, I can stretch it to 5 minutes, but I, unfortunately, don't get that luxury during this year's summer season in California. Local detailers would understand this. Up next was the detail brush process. The focus of this step is to thoroughly tickle the intricate areas with the same all-purpose cleaner mixture and a soft boar's hair detail brush to dislodge any stubborn dirt. Crevices like the grille, emblems, badges, panels, and trim area were all addressed to ensure maximum cleanliness was achieved for this decontamination detail. With the high foaming solution and lubricity from Geon's APC, the bubbles safely encapsulate the particles for it to be rinsed safely. I should probably make a review about this product, so if you're interested in that, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. The most satisfying part of any detail, the wash process. A first on the channel, but used several times off camera, I utilized G-Technic's W4 citrus foam. In a foam cannon, I prepped 16 parts of water to 1 part solution for the 16:1 dilution ratio. It is free of any dyes, and has a rather pleasant smell of lemons, and not the kind of candy smell like cheap car soaps, but a clean, citrusy smell. Not a performance benefit, but nice to use in a luxury wash for the detailer to enjoy. A set of plush fibers take a bath in the soapy solution to be primed for the contact wash. 1 gallon of water and 1 ounce of soap was prepped in my bucket for high lubrication and light suds, of course, with the help of my pressure washer. Starting with the windshield, I coat the surface with some high cleaning bubbles. I usually like to go in sections rather than foaming the whole area, and given that the sun was quickly approaching, it wasn't such a bad idea. Working in the solution with my long-reach washman, I agitate the suds to deal with the muck, and because of its length, I get to cover more area without having to pull out the stepping stool. After mopping the area, I lather the front of the vehicle. A rich, creamy layer of foam makes its way to be worked in with a wash mitt. Detailing a maintained car is about using 2 buckets, more than 1 wash mitt, grit guards, non-circular motions, and other common detailing methods, but this was quite the opposite. So here I use a single mitt, single bucket, and pretty rough scrubbing that I'm sure many single pass double bucket crusaders are probably screaming at their screens right now. Because this was a decontamination service, a simple once-over was not going to cut it, quite literally, through the stuck-on grime. Swirls and other paint defects is something I don't worry about in a service like this because they will be addressed regardless when I get to the polishing stage. So no need to be overly meticulous about swirls, and before someone asks, well, why did you do the APC Pre Wash? Well, I just love knowing that a lot of the muck had been removed, even if it was or wasn't for a surface like this. So it's mostly a personal preference. Working around the vehicle, I get to understand my van a little more. Like, where are the curvatures? How does the paint react with the soap? Does the trim need a coating? And other quirks of the exterior. I feel like seeing the car and reading the specs on paper is plenty of information, but I think you can only truly understand your vehicle in its first wash. It sounds weird at first, but I think there's a lot of meaning to that. Understanding where the panel gaps are, where the water gets trapped, what areas need more attention, and other key areas comes in handy when planning on how to approach the detail. I would love to know how you guys handled your new car's first wash, so let me know down below. The best smelling product in the market makes its way in this detail for the fallout remover process. P&S Iron Buster will be used to remove the embedded iron particles with some color changing purple bleeding chemical reaction. With some simple PPE to cover my hands, eyes, mouth, and nose, while not industrial grade, is more than enough to minimize the foul chemical odor from making its ways into my nostrils. I only work in small areas at a time, and given the inconvenience of the sun, this was to prevent the solution from drying up. A minute or two later, the surface was indeed bleeding liquefied metal, so that tells me the whole van needed to be decontaminated accordingly. If there were no metal particles to turn purple, then perhaps a quick clay and polish would have been enough, but given the bombardment of grape Kool-Aid on the surface, I would need to repeat the same procedure throughout the vehicle. The paint on the van is color white, which gives me a bit more time when working in the heat, so when spraying the solution, I let it do its thing, but not for too long. During this recording, it was summertime in California at approximately 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and while I could have pulled out the canopy, I don't think it was necessary, and I wanted to make sure that maximum airflow was achieved to escape the rotten egg smelling fumes. I wasn't going to toss out the soapy solution that I had prepped in the bucket just yet because I will use that in my foam cannon as a final chemical neutralizer for the iron remover. The bucket solution had approximately 2 ounces of soap to a gallon of water, which is roughly 64:1 dilution ratio. Recycling my soapy mixture, I lathered the whole vehicle in some, for the most part, chemically neutral bubbles. The foam will neutralize any remaining iron remover residue and help flush out that spent product from the nooks and crannies, wherever it may hide. Now I can still smell the lingering odor of iron buster, so by using this lemony scented soap really helps rid that rotten egg smell. I also sprayed some soap on the floor to avoid having my driveway stained with purple black streaks and smears all over the place. While water alone would have been enough, spraying some lemony neutralizing foam to cut that smell and stains wasn't such a bad idea. Now for sure I was not going to clay and polish the car in such immense heat, so I will wait until the next day for a cool morning and, hopefully, a hassle-free experience. So for now, the van will just wait under a protective canopy until tomorrow. One early, cool, and cloudy morning, I check on the van, and surely enough, the canopy did help prevent the nasty bird pastries. However, I did hear a gardener work right next door the day before, and a bit of dust was found on the surface. So instead of a wipe down or using polymer-based cleaners, I instead used my DI water and a garden hose attachment to rinse off any particles. I still needed to do a clay bar treatment, so having a wet surface will actually aid me during that process. So rinsing the vehicle was not such a bad idea. The clay bar process. To truly prep this vehicle, a physical decontamination is required to remove the more embedded particles. Here I will utilize Chemical Guy's yellow clay bar and wipe out IPA as my clay lube. Playing with some Play-Doh on the side to form a flat disc of clay, I then spray liberal amounts of solution to agitate the bar on the surface. During the fallout remover process, we did see a lot of contaminants being removed from the paint, but that does not mean that all of them were removed. Well, the larger chunks, I meant. With side-to-side motions, I could definitely feel that the surface was gritty, but after a couple of passes, it was as smooth as a baby's bottom. I don't showcase a clay bar treatment that often, and some people are probably wondering why I'm using an IPA as my clay lube. Well, technically speaking, any liquid can be used as a clay lube. O&R, detail spray, and even some car soap. I use an IPA because of its wax stripping capabilities and to, as the product's intent, to prep the paint. As having a product that can serve 2 roles cuts down time and boosts my efficiency to finish sooner for the next stage of the detail. On camera, it does not look like much is going on, but clay barring a whole entire van is super lengthy process, and I don't think there's anything entertaining to see here. I took a solid hour working in the clay bar inch by inch, section by section, panel by panel, couple of sprays at a time. So with the power of editing magic, we can skip the boring, laborsome stuff and jump right into the fun stuff. A quick IPA wipe down was called to order to make sure no excess residue remains to interfere with the polishing process. For this detail, I am not going for paint correction nor enhancement, but instead use a cleaner wax just to smoothen out the surface. So for this polishing process, conveniently prepped on my detailing card, I will use Kosh Chemi's P301 Microcut and Finish Polish as my cleaner wax paired with some soft Lake Country black finishing pads for a very light amount of abrasion. My machines of choice are the Torque 15DA for the large surfaces and my Flex PXE 80 for the more intricate areas where a larger pad would struggle. And then just a handful of towels and a spray bottle of water to help wipe away the spent polish. Starting on the hood, I prep my pad and prime it. The sun was slowly creeping its way in, so I pick up the pace before taking out the canopies. Spraying the solution over and setting my machine at level 3 speed, I work in the polish until it becomes clear enough to see through. My arm speed is a lot faster than usual polishing speeds because remember, this is not a paint enhancement nor correction. I just want to smoothen the surface with a cleaner wax and nothing more. Swirl removing is not the focus, but neither calling it a day with a spray wax will do this service any justice, so using a light abrasive like microcut and finish was perfect for this detail. Swapping between a large and smaller machine helps achieve maximum coverage for the intricate areas. There are not that many panels, and perhaps I could have gotten away with just a 5-inch machine. Still though, it's nice to address each area accordingly and to get to know this van a little more with each step. This is my first time using this polish, and I can say that this is quite promising. It barely dusts, if any, and the wipe-off procedure, while grippy, is still functional even in hot weather. I won't test my luck here in direct sunlight, but what this product provides as an all-in-one, it does not disappoint, and I'm glad to have this in my arsenal. Maybe a product review is required to fully express my opinion of this polish, so until then, I will do thorough testing in my own time, and will let you guys know eventually. Now, I don't polish that often, even off camera, so doing this kind of work is exciting because I know I am doing more than just a wash. Refining the paint is what gives it that extra pop, not the paint protection. I am not a pro level polisher. I still have much more left to learn, and even at a master level I feel like the education that goes into this art never ends, as how we detailers evolve with newer technologies, materials, and machines. If this channel grows large enough, I think I might be able to afford going back to detailing school again and continue my career. Who knows, maybe I will start a school of my own for new detailers willing to take their craft to the next level. Of course, this is just a dream, but with enough work and dedication, I feel like that can turn into a reality. So for now, I will continue my hustle in preparation for the bigger picture. Similar thing like the clay bar process, polishing a whole entire van in small sections is tiresome and a lengthy process. So mad respects to all the detailers out there polishing large trucks and vans on a routinely basis. I am not going to show hard 50-50 lines or befores and afters for the paint because there really are no swirls that I would want to remove. So tackling the paint, emblem, and badges accordingly was more than enough for me to feel satisfied that this van looks a whole lot better than 90% of the commercial vans out in the streets. Only I can appreciate my own work and no one else. Approaching the finish line, I start the paint protection stage. The sealant of my choice was Geon's Q2M Cure for some insane hydrophobic properties and high gloss finish, paired with a handful of creature edgeless towels from the brand company to level and buff the spent product. Now this is my second time using this product, and it says a lot when I showcase it on my channel for you guys to see. My first time using Cure left strong impressions with lots of gloss added to the surface, water beading that can rival ceramic coating, and long-lasting 6 months of protection, which I am sure will definitely last considering how often I clean my vehicles. My only complaint that I have for this product is that it's a bit grippy and needs more time to buff off properly, but that can be easily resolved with lots of plush towels and patience. I'm not one to overly praise a product, but the fact that I'm showcasing it to you guys in a video and I barely have 2 days says a lot, and I think a product review will allow me to fully express my opinion. But of course, further testing is a must, no matter how good it may seem. Every surface that was reflected, I applied Cure onto it. So from obviously the paint, to the emblems and badges, and even the glass, just because I felt like it. I won't add a trim dressing on the plastics just yet because I would like to save that for a special video later down the line, so please bear with me until then. Wiping and buffing, I get to understand my van a bit more on how it accepts paint protection. Similar to washing, I inspect every panel, curvature, gap, and seal to truly understand the geometry of my vehicle. This van is very special to me, and I would like to treat it like my own personal vehicle rather than just a work machine with only one purpose. There is a long story behind this vehicle, and the struggle was real on trying to even find one in the first place, let alone in good condition. I'm sure many of you guys who had purchased a car for the first time might understand this better, especially with the whole supply chain crisis going on in the US. So if you have a story to share, let me know in the comment section below. In the distance, I hear some tap 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 sounds, and I thought something was spilling on the van, but turns out it was Hot Doggy. Luma decides to crash in the detail, spreading her love and support for myself and anyone else who is a dog lover. I'm not sure what she was doing, just sitting behind me as if I had a treat to give, or perhaps she was observing to see how she can apply a spray sealant. I don't know, but still nice to have her nearby until she was called back inside the house for lunchtime. So until next time, Hot Doggy. No detail is complete without conditioning the tires with some dressing. Here I will use Dr. Beasley's matte tire conditioner for that clean OEM matte finish. Using a small applicator pad, I prime it first with some solution to ensure even coverage, then apply a couple more drops to blot it out on the tire. This is a silicone-free dressing, so you're going to get that premium feel and finish compared to other cheaper dressings out there. The application process is so spot on that there are times where you don't even have to buff off the spent product. Now, I did here only because I have a habit in doing so, but man, do the results speak for themselves, and I am glad to have added this to my arsenal for future details when they arrive. Before calling it a day, a quick inspection is required to ensure that this detail is free of any residues, streaks, or loose particles that will trigger my OCD. Using Geon's ceramic quick detailer will add a very light amount of protection, a boost in gloss wherever I need it. So I go around the whole van to ensure that my standards are met and that this van is ready for the road. After almost 13 hours of brutal labor in the California sun, the detail is finally complete. You guys have no idea how fun this was to record, and being able to document the first ever detail of my van is a special feeling, and I will cherish this forever. I am aware I could have gone a step further with perhaps a paint enhancement or correction, but I think what bothered me the most were the contaminants rather than the swirls. This is a cargo van, and executing a 1 or 2 step polishing service is an extremely lengthy process that would easily make this turn into a 2-part video series. But I am happy with my results. While not as glossy as, say, a personal vehicle, I can at least feel accomplished that this van looks hundreds of times better than 90% of cargo vans on the road, and being able to call this my personal vehicle has a special place in my heart. A lot of products, both old and new, have made its way into my arsenal, and I am happy that I found new stuff to mess around with and give my thoughts for you guys to consider on your next purchase. There will be many more products and brands still in development or items that I still have not used, so if you would like to recommend something, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe down below for more future content like this down the road, and make sure to hit that bell icon so that way you're notified with every video that I upload. Thank you for watching, stay safe, have a good time.